What's up, everybody? I wanted to make a video. Um, First of all, to pay my respects to Conejo, you know, to EBK family, rest in peace. He put up a good fight. You know, he he was battling with that for a while, and I mean, no se rajó. So, shout out to him. My condolences to his family. I can't even begin to even imagine how that feels. Like that would be really, devastating. Um, I know I met him. Well, I didn't meet him in person, but I met him a long time ago. When all that stuff with the lovers was going on, but you know ever since I met him, he never lied. He always, he was always with the truth. Like he never sugarcoated anything. He was always with the truth. Anything they would tell him, and like, hey, here's the paperwork, here's whatever. He never lied. He never, you know, even after cancer, battling cancer, he still went on the ring, and that's crazy. I remember um I think I met him a little bit before, because I would listen to all these guys when I would work, and then he got the cancer around the time that I had crashed, and I was going 75, and I hit some big boulders on the road, so I almost died. No, thank God I didn't die. The car was pretty bad, and I was pretty bad too. You know, my whole body was broken, and you know, that thing had taken a big toll on me. And just seeing him, that he wasn't giving up, it gave me hopes, it gave me energy, it gave me, to keep going, because like I mean, my whole body was broken, but it wasn't like, I mean, like that, like cancer. I mean, I wasn't dead, but he was battling that. So it's two very different monsters. But he gave me, me dio muchas ganas, to keep going, to try to keep, and then just seeing him, always looking for his kids, you know, me daban ganas a mí también, to keep looking for my kid, because, even when I was going through it, the whole, and everything, the pain and everything, there was only one thing that I wanted, is to see my little one. So I remember when he started, I had started kind of like my journey too of recuperating, and kind of trolling and making videos, kind of help me pass the time and do all of that, and going to his lives, and listening to what he had to say and his input on things, and he was funny. Like he was really funny, like like, say, being on the lives, and him being like, oh, Jay Hands just dropped this off, he unhooped this. Like he would always pull out like things, and he would say that, oh, Jay Hanson hooped this, like, and he would get like that, It was pretty funny, and then he would do the red room, like I don't know, it was I'm gonna and I remember him because he was a really energetic, he never lied, he was like always try to show a good mood to everybody, like even with the people that talk bad about him, he always gave them like a not a second chance, but like a like okay, well, give it like a benefit of the doubt, maybe we're just talking out of your butt, like so he did that to a lot of people, he even to me, he was always like, don't unsub to people if you like them or if they're, just if you like their stuff, just keep watching it, you don't gotta do none of that, so um but anyways, hopefully his family gets to go through this, and will ever, get to go through this, like, because it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be hard, like even being in the hospital, it's hard. Like I would, I told a story about when I was in the hospital, um, I hit my head so hard that they were giving me a lot of painkillers and stuff for I don't know, like for my head or because I was like hallucinating, and one of those things, one of the days I started like my head started going on a trip, and I was listening to the doctor's talk, and I started getting really nervous, and in my head, uh, they were supposedly planning something to get rid of me, but it wasn't true, it was just my head was hallucinating, and it was like making stuff up, and like my head was just like, you know, so uh, I don't know if anybody's been in the hospital, but when you're there like more than one or depending on your body or whatever, they put a catheter in your private part so you could go to the restroom so you could pee. Well, I got so, you know, I don't know, so panicked, so I don't know, that whatever I was hearing, like I was hearing like that they weren't gonna take me out or something, but whatever the story was in my head, I took out the catheter and I pulled it out. I pulled out the catheter, and my two legs were broken. I had broken ribs. My whole body was messed up. And I still just pulled out the catheter. I threw myself off of the hospital bed and I started crawling. I started army crawling. In my head, I thought I was, like gonna get away and like I was gonna escape whatever was gonna happen. But uh, yeah, it was just in my head, like my family saw, like whenever um, they were sounding the little alarm and when they saw the doctors running, they didn't know it was me, but yeah, it was me. I threw myself over the bed, and I started army crawling, and I thought I was gonna escape because of whatever the doctors were saying in my head. I was in pretty bad shape, so I could just imagine, being in the hospital this whole time. Like, it sucks. It sucks. The only thing I could say is that, or that they could be glad about, is that his pain is over, like how one of the last times I heard him say, that he was tired, like, nunca se rajó, and he always tried to keep going, but that day, a lot of us heard him, like, I'm tired, I'm tired. And I had never heard him say that. And he was like, I'm tired, Roto. But his pain's over. We're still here. Gotta give it our all till we're not. Start acting like adults, instead of this whole I'm more active, I'm more proactive, I'm more gangster, more this and that. When in the end, we all go to the same place.